Hey everyone, you're here with Mark on Perfect Gardens TV. So we're bringing on one of our clients, Stig. You've seen him on other past videos. He's one of my top growers. We've been working together for, let's say, about 8 months to a year now.
No, a
He's
little bit more, I think.
a little bit more.
Yeah, a
So we're
year.
going on a third grow at this point, and he's been just an exemplary student of the process, just like we all are. And through that, him wanting to learn, wanting to improve, doing all these necessary things on his grow side, he's increased 300% on his grow in a matter of 3 grows, totally into the black. And he actually ended up finding one of my other YouTube channels talking around detoxing. And in the last couple weeks, I've just recently released a number of videos talking about the liver, gallbladder, flesh, the power of an apple, and more talking around how to use your garden as medicine in just another way, right? I mean, if you could grow a plant that makes you feel good, why wouldn't you utilize a fruit that can detox your body so that you can feel just as good in another different way? And Stig, he found my other YouTube channel, and he really has taken advantage of another part of one of my passions, which is helping people detox and get healthier. And so I asked him to come back onto the channel to talk about his experience. He just finished his second detox. And yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Stig. Please tell us about what you've experienced through this process.
Yeah, it was when we were switching from synthetic growth to organic growth, and I was spending so much time and energy on growing this flower that I kind of forgot to take care of my own body, what I'm eating, and it started there. And somehow I found that video that you had on the liver and gallbladder flush. So I told myself that during the first living soil grow, I was going to stop eating meat, not totally stop, but decrease the meat, start eating plant-based food, and cut out all sugars, like sweets. Now I'm talking like sweets and treats and that, like that. And I was really obese at the time. So that was maybe 7 months ago.
How heavy were you?
I was 110 kilos. So I think I lost about 35 pounds. I did a calculation that I'm 93 kilos now. So that's about 30 pounds, I think, 35 pounds.
Just so everyone knows, 110 kilos is 242 pounds, and he's dropped to about 210 pounds. In a course of how long did it take for you to lose that weight?
About 6 months.
Did you have to do anything like super strenuous, like working out or?
No, I mean, that's one of my Achilles heel is I'm not good at exercising, but I live in an environment where I work a lot with my body to heat my house. Like I have a forest around me. I cut down my own wood and I heat my house with wood. And there's a lot of joy in being out in the woods and, so I do some physical labor and I see that as exercise. But otherwise, I would like to start running again and going for longer walk, but I don't find the continuous in. I start doing it, stop doing it, and then I stop. So I have a little problem with the motivation there.
Sorry about that. Just so I get a better understanding. So in those 6 months, you've done 2 flushes. You've reduced your meat intake. Not saying you became a vegetarian. You just reduced it a little bit. Done your best to cut out the sugar. And you've done 2 flushes and been a little more plant-based. And no additional exercise beyond what you already do. And you've lost 30 pounds, just relatively gradually lost it naturally just within your lifestyle. Yeah. What did you feel in the course of 6 months cutting out the sugar? What was that like for you?
Cutting out the sugar was the worst. I mean, I still crave after a meal something sweet, but I now eat fruits instead, a lot of fruit. And I mean, sugar is a really, or should I say, nasty drug, because it's been like 6 to 7 months and I still crave that sugar. I know it's all in my head. It's out of my system now, but that's a power drug to have been eating for, I should say I'm 50 years old and I've been eating sugar all my life. So it's going to take a while, I think, to get used to not eating sweets. But I'm getting sugar, fruits, and through other stuff, but nothing like only through fruits. It's the only way I'm taking in sugars and milk.
Was the flush difficult to do? Was it like intensive as your body?
I didn't cut out the meat the first time. I switched from eating a lot of pasta, white bread for carbohydrate. I was switching that to more like broccoli and carrots and stuff like that. But I was eating a lot of meat. And when I did the first flush on the Friday when you were drinking the Epsom salt, I got a horrific pain in my tummy. I know I sent you a distress call in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be calling 911. But one thing that helped me was I start to move around. I was walking up and down the stairs, and within 30 minutes, I went to the toilet and it exploded. And then the pain was over. And for the next 2 days, I was living on the toilet, the first one. So then I waited maybe 5 months when I did the second one. And now I was eating all vegetarian, no meat at all during this time. And it was like walking the park to do the flush. And it didn't come out as much as well because it was more shit in my system, so to speak, the first time. Because this time I did eat less during this week that you do the flush. So I was eating a lot of oatmeal with milk only. Then it became a much more pleasant flush to do. But I should mention that I didn't do the enema because when I was hurting so much the first time, the last thing I wanted to do is put more water in my body. And the second time I was supposed to do the enema, but it got shipped too late. But the third time I'm going to do it, I'm going to do the enema because now I feel comfortable that everything is working and I trust the process.
When you get prepared for the third one, I also want to align it with either a new moon or a full moon. Yeah, you should get better results during that time as well.
I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of smaller techniques I normally don't talk. I initially, right when I get someone interested, I'm like, just follow this 10-minute thing and just experience it, right? But then as we go into the second one and third one and fourth one and fifth one, I have other things we try to align to become more, allow Mother Earth to also become your healer as well. So we won't get too heavy into this video. I have another question. Do you regret going down this direction in any way?
No, not at all. Because I think it had to do something with me getting older and wanted to live a healthier life. And when you introduced me to the living soil and all the literature that I start reading, you kind of question your lifestyle in a way that goes in hand with growing. You kind of get into that. Why do I eat this cow that has been molested more or less and with antibiotic? And your brain starts to work and think in different ways, I think, when you get into organic growing.
Well, what you're discussing right here is you're no longer living a cognitive dissonance life. And if anyone's never heard this word cognitive dissonance, the way how it was described to me originally that made the world a world of sense to me was when they use it as in a political sense, right? So you have Democrats and Republicans over here in the United States. And so Democrats, initially in the beginning of life, they are pro-choice, meaning they're okay with abortion and they're okay with the woman making the choice to not have abortion. And then another part of their life where they are relatively on firm disciplines or belief structure is that they are against foreign policy. So against foreign policy is the United States going into other countries and meddling with their politics, and it basically erupts into riots and possibly civil war. And then through this issue, the U.S. or other parasite corporations come in and start to monopolize in the disruption. So relatively there, for most situations in life, they stand on against foreign policy. And then they're against the death penalty, right? So in the beginning, they're okay with someone choosing to live or die. They're like, well, you could choose to murder your child, or you could choose to bring the child into life. It's your choice. But then they're against foreign policy, which creates war. So they're against death. And then they're also against the death penalty, which creates death. So they're, in a sense, they're kind of set up in a contradicting environment. So you can never create a situation where they can be totally grounded and go in a direction with common values. There's an issue in the beginning of their belief structure, and then they go in this whole other direction at the end of their life. So they're set up for, in some level, confusion, or does, if that makes sense. And then Republicans are also, in the beginning, they're pro-life, so they're against the abortion, and then they are for foreign policy. So foreign policy creates war and death. And then they are for death penalty. So they're okay with death. So in the beginning, they want to protect life, but in the middle and end, they're okay with death. So again, once again, set up with conflict. And what you're saying and what you've in a sense, the fog is kind of lifted in some level, and you're like, why am I choosing to live a lifestyle like this? It's creating contradiction, and that doesn't make you feel good. And you're able to then navigate your own lifestyle based upon how you feel internally in your lifestyles, and how you feel is now creating a reality in your life, right? A manifestation, an actual reality that's adjusting everything in your life, from how you eat, how you treat, maybe how you treat people, how you treat your plants, and it adjusts so that there's no longer internal conflicts. And this is my belief structure. I believe it creates an environment where you're allowed to become grounded, and you create a level of internal peace, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm striving for, is that, like having a better life quality. As I get older, I want to be able to do stuff. And it took me 50 years to realize that if you don't take care of your body, it's so easy to say, but it's hard to do. But I mean, for me, that was, the eye opener was like, I could feel that my body was not functioning in a way that I wanted it to do. And I mean, it comes down to what you put in your body. Is like, it should be your number one priority, because that's your energy, that's your everything. The more I read and the more I learn about this, it's like, yeah, it's not a burden anymore. It was in the beginning, it was very hard. But then as you get past a certain point, I think, because it's not easy to navigate also with, even if you're eating plant-based, where is that carrot grown? Has it been shipped? So all these other factors comes in as well. And I'm hoping that someday I will have a garden of my own where I'm not just growing illegal plants, where I'm growing tomatoes and potatoes and stuff like that. That's my sort of end goal with this whole thing, that I want to be somehow self-sufficient and
Efficient.
can eat. Yeah, but where I live, it's 4 season, winter, spring, summer, and so it's hard to, it's only through May to maybe October. And if you have like greenhouse, and then you can extend maybe 1 or 2 months on both ways, so you can grow a little bit longer. But that's my next goal for next year, to have an outdoor growing as well. So I know where it comes from more.
Stig, I really appreciate your willingness and your trust through this entire process, because, it's so easy. It's so easy in life to have a problem and be scared over the situation, and then want to run to a doctor so that they give you a remedy, so that, because you're going through all these emotional situations in life, and for you to, and you weren't even going through a problem. Yeah, you were just kind of feeling like things weren't working as well as they should have. And instead of running to a doctor, running to a person that's going to try to put it in a bottle or whatever, because sometimes medicines are nice to do. Instead of running to the pharmaceutical direction, you chose to literally go back to your garden once again and find your medicine. I mean, in the very beginning, Stig literally pressed, I think it took you about 120 apples to produce a gallon of, or a quart of apple juice a day, right?
Yeah, I pressed by myself with a mason jar.
He literally pressed so many apples, he broke his buddy's apple presser. You know what I mean? Like, in 1 week. Okay, so what I'm trying to point out here is that
I had a problem and I solved it.
that in addition, that every time you go to a store and you buy apple juice, not the sugary stuff that comes from, you know, the condensed version, but when you buy the stuff that literally is pressed from an apple, it's a lot of work goes into producing that gallon of apple juice to heal your body.
Yeah, it takes me, when I did it the second time, and it took me like half an hour to maybe 45 minutes to get the fresh apples for each day. Was it 32 ounces?
32 ounces every day. How many apples?
Yeah, between 15 to 20 apples per day.
Per day to produce 32 ounces of juice.
Of liquid.
Of liquid.
Yeah.
I mean, this man literally put his blood, sweat, and tears into producing a second remedy of medicine for himself. And even when he was going through the pain, you know, that one evening, he, like, I promise you, a lot of people in life choose to opt out or quit in the middle of it because it didn't take them a lot of energy to maybe make the money or to pay for whatever experience they're paying for. And so if they opt out, they're like, okay, whatever, I only lost $20. But Stig, I mean, he put his blood, sweat, and tears into this process. He was going to finish this, and he did. And 6 months later, you're hearing it. I'm only repeating what I've heard in this interview. Is a sense of fog has lifted, a sense of alignment in his life choices. Because he's made all these decisions for himself. I have this YouTube channel that's floating. Besides in the last couple of weeks of me actually bringing that content onto this channel and releasing it, I don't market it to they're different sectors of my brain, right? So I don't market it to my clients and tell them, oh, you should buy this or you should buy this. There's literally 3 products I recommend my growers to buy. And that's all I really ever sell. And I don't, like, the Stig came to this on his own, and he was like, hey, Mark, you know, I want to do this. And through that entire process, it is created a fog. A fog is lifted, an alignment in his life has aligned, and he's now learned a level of wisdom that literally costs $35 to $40, but he can literally help heal his entire family if they're maybe getting a little overweight, maybe, you know, they need a detox, whatever's going on. He's learned something new to literally create ramifications to completely alter and change his entire bloodline, because he's learning how to empower himself to heal his own body, and he can now do that for anyone that's interested in doing that as well. So guys, I hope you just don't grow one plant. I hope you guys get into learning how to grow other plants, because all of these plants, they're medicine for your own body, for your own soul, and I think for everything in general. So guys, I appreciate you, Stig. Thank you for coming on the channel. Do you have anything else you want to share?
No, I mean, I'm not so good at English, and you express it very well in those last words. I mean, if you just start growing, don't start too big. Start with one crop, like something easy like carrots or potato or something like that. I think that will take me down to the next one and the next one and the next one, and start slow. And yeah, I really appreciate all the information that are out there and all the nice people that are willing to help you. You know, I appreciate you a lot, Mark, for all your information, and I'm happy to spread it wider to be sort of testify that it worked. If you really want it, do it.
Stig, I'm fortunate to call you a friend. Everyone, please remember to like, share, subscribe. Have a great day, everyone, and a great grow.